The one let's go back to this message, right? Because the coffee bean message is incredible. And I think that the truth, though, is that it was an unlikely source that gave it to you. And then just to see how God has used it in your life and then what's happened because of it.
Here I am in Dallas County Jail, getting ready to go into one of the worst environments on earth. And I'm receptive to the messengers. And I run into this old black Muslim guy from the streets of Dallas. Couldn't be more different than Damon West. This younger middle-class white guy, this Catholic guy from Southeast Texas. But Muhammad's the messenger. And he shares a very important message with me right before I go to prison. And he's telling me everything about prison. He's telling me about all the fights I'm going to get into, that race is everything in there. This is a black guy telling me race is the biggest factor in there. Everybody breaks off their own races. And he's telling me the blacks have all the control because they have the numbers in there. Whites have the lowest representation there. So be ready for this racial war you're about to walk into. And he could see that I was struggling with this whole concept. So he said, let me break this down for you a different way. He said, I want you to imagine prison as a pot of boiling water. He said, anything we put to this pot of boiling water will be changed by the heat and the pressure inside that pot. He said, I'll put 3 things in this pot of boiling water and watch how they change: a carrot, an egg, and a coffee bean. So, Kerri, here's where I first heard the story of the coffee bean. It was 10 years before John Gordon and I wrote that book that you held up a while ago called The Coffee Bean in 2019. So he's walking me through it. If I put a carrot in the pot of boiling water, the carrot goes in hard but becomes softened by the water. He said, you don't want to become a carrot inside this environment. He said the egg in the same pot of boiling water goes in with the soft liquid inside, but inside that pot of boiling water, the inside of the heart becomes hardened. The yolk becomes hardened. The heart becomes hardened by the environment around it. He said, you don't want to be the egg either. The egg comes back with a bunch of swastikas tattooed all over it. And then he told me, the coffee bean, the smallest of the 3 things, he said, small like you, has the power to change the entire atmosphere inside that pot because the power's inside the coffee bean, just like the power's inside of you. And that's when he starts telling me, everything else in life is changed by the water in life. Carrots are changed by the water. Eggs are changed by the water, but not a coffee bean. He said the coffee bean is the only thing that changes the water because it's the change agent. If you want to come back as someone your parents recognize, you got to be like that coffee bean too.